I made a decision last year to leave the road in favor of the studio. And the
Okay.
reason that I made the decision was because I could only be in Cleveland or St. Louis or Dallas and talk to 300 or 400 people, that if I sat in our studio, I can now talk to the world. And what happens with people is they are looking, every single salesperson is looking for answers that they don't now have. Sales are up, the economy's good, and what they weren't counting on was their competitors going crazy. There's more competition now than ever. And everyone is looking for their share of this good economy. You're getting it, but if you're only getting 10 or 15%, you're floating along.
Right. You're coasting.
Right.
Everybody's getting 10 or 15%.
So my strategy is to put myself in front of more people that can say yes to me. So rather than put myself in front of 300 people, I can now put myself in front of 300,000 people.
Yeah.
All at the same time. And my shirt today is elephant because if you do something memorable, it is never forgotten. If you do something inspirational, it is never forgotten. If you lead people to an easier, better way than the thing they're doing right now, it is never forgotten. And so I'm focusing on subtle things of sales that I've learned over the course of the last 40 or so years that will help a salesperson easier, faster, better, more profitable, that leads to a relationship and a referral. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
I talked to a bunch of insurance agents about 6 weeks ago, and I said, raise your hand if you'd like a list of prospects that are ready to buy now. Like, dude, it doesn't exist. Leave it alone. That you have to cultivate that list. You have to create that list. And if you don't create the list, it's never going to happen. So think about, what are you doing that allows you to get in front of those people easier, faster, better, more profitably?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is with more value and more creative ideas. So, for example, I'm trying to create something that's Instagrammable, or that's LinkedInable, or that is Facebookable, so that I make sure that I can get to that next prospect easier. Because if somebody puts me up on Facebook, 1,000 of their friends will see it.
Right.
So if I'm an air conditioning repair guy and I go into somebody's house, I'm probably going to wear those little shoes that slip over your feet so I don't track crap in.
Right.
So I'm going to have them printed with my name on them. And then I'm going to give them to all the kids in the house. And they're going to run all over the place with them also. And now I'm going to be top of mind for the next couple of years until they get rid of it, until they get tired of them. And the mother's going to say, can we get more of those shoes? The kids have...
So one of the things where I think people really get hung up is they feel like they have to be on Instagram, and they have to be on Facebook, and they have to be on Twitter, and they have to be on LinkedIn, and they have to have shoe covers with their names on them and things like that. There's an element of creativity there. There's also a potential for overwhelm. And you and I have talked about this before. How do you pick the right one to be on, the right channel to be on? Because, look, there's some people that will say you got to be on all of them. And if you got to eventually be on all of them if you want to get big enough. But how do you decide which one to be on first? And how do you cut the crap, so to speak, of, of the conflicting priorities, right? I mean, how do you decide which, is it Facebook first, then Instagram? I mean, what kind of an evaluation?
No formula for anybody, but what I would recommend for anyone who is listening, watching, look up your 5 biggest competitors and see where they are, and see what their messages are, and see how effective they are or are not. That's number 1.
Yep.
Number 2, know that the trending pieces are LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Those are the trenders.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're looking for B2B, then LinkedIn's going to be your place. If you're looking for B2C, then Facebook or Instagram is your place. But you have to have a message that is transferable.
Right.
You can't just be there and have nothing. You have to be there and be eating your ice cream cone at your favorite ice cream cone place and tag them and tag the guy and tag the people and talk to a couple of people in the audience and find out what they like and make it forwardable, make it memorable, make it commentable, make it taggable.
If you have a little bit of fun with it, I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
makes it easier to do all that stuff, and it makes it more engaging too. But every time I listen to you talk, and I'm in an audience with some people, and like I saw you at Outbound this year, and
Yeah.
I'm in a room with 1,000 other people, and I hear you say something, and I look around and I see people nodding their heads. Yes, this makes a ton of sense. Why is the common sense of some of this stuff not so common? What makes salespeople get in their own way and not let the obvious just play out in front of it? I mean, you said something just a couple of minutes ago. I'm going to do everything I can to put myself in front of more people who can say yes to me.
Right.
And there are people all over Instagram and social media, everywhere else, trying to put themselves in front of people, but not necessarily with the common sense to think, are these the people who can say yes?
Correct. Yeah.
What about common sense makes it not so common?
It's not easy to do. And when it gets frustrating, people tend to do less or nothing. That's one of the issues. And so you have to be willing to fail at whatever it is you're trying to do in order to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at anything Thomas Edison, you'll see here's a guy who basically was successful because he was a failure.
Right.
And he kept on failing and kept on failing and finally figured out something that worked and made him one of the most famous people in the world. Who was in his mastermind? Nobody big. Henry Ford, John Burroughs, and Henry Firestone. I mean, this is a guy who hung out with the people that set the standard for American manufacturing.
Right.
And, who worked for John Patterson in Dayton? And the answer is Thomas Watson.
Right.
So these are people, and John Kettering, these are people who founded their careers with one guy and then expanded them on their own. And everybody who is in business or even in sales is looking to expand their marketplace. Who do you hang with? Who do you talk to? Who's linking you? Who's tagging you? I get tagged all over the place. And people talk to me all over literally all over the map. Are you? And then that starts the conversation.
Right.
I mean, literally yesterday I was leaving the place where I was eating dinner and somebody goes, "Are you?" And then I was leaving Whole Foods and somebody goes, "Are you?" And these are people who are in Charlotte, my town, that recognize me from one thing or another and want to talk. Well, the reason they recognize me and they want to talk is they've seen me 100 times before.
Right.
They've read something of mine. So go on LinkedIn and post an article about something that your customers would find interesting or valuable, or don't go on.
Right.
Where's your value message?
Yeah, and be there with a purpose. Don't just be there to be there.
Totally. And I don't want to buy a house. I want to live in a home.
Right.
And if people don't understand the subtle difference of that, they got a big problem. I don't want to buy an insurance policy. I want protection. I want peace of mind. And God forbid, if I file a claim, I want to get paid.
Right.
So I'm looking at it from the perspective of people don't understand what the outcome is going to be. And that's where you have to live your life in the outcome. I don't want to buy a shirt in a store. I want to wear a shirt to a party.
So 3 seminars, a series of 3.
Yep.
Why 3? Why not 5? Why not 1?
Oh.
And what do you tackle in each one of
I
those?
got too much stuff to convey, and I'm going to somehow get it down to 3. I have a process that I used when I began my sales career in New York City. And I don't want to say I never lost a sale, but anytime I went for a big sale, I made it.
Okay.
I'm going to share that strategy because I never knew the people I was calling the day I made my first call.
Right.
You might call that a cold call. I'm going to call it a targeted call. I targeted people who I thought could buy from me or would buy from me. And I went in with an idea, not with a sales pitch.
Right.
If I have any idea, what am I? I'm worthless. I'm totally worthless. Does it cost money? Yeah, a little bit. You got to invest in yourself. But is there a reward? Yeah. And the reward is 6-figure sales, 7-figure sales in a place where up yours is a greeting. Who the hell are you? You know, I mean, you live in a tough marketplace, and the marketplace will dictate how successful you are or you aren't based on your perception of value. If someone perceives me as potentially valuable, they will listen, whether they're in Kuala Lumpur or New York, New York.
Right.
And that's where I want to be. I want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing for my customer so that they perceive me as a value provider. Therefore, they'll listen to what I have to say.
Yeah. Come in with an idea for them, not just a brochure for you.
Right. And so that's what I'm going to talk about in the first seminar.
Yep.
The second one, once I have that down, the second one I want to talk about is attitude, belief, enthusiasm about who you are as a person, who you represent as a company, and the products that you're trying to convey or the services that you're trying to convey. Because if you don't have that triple belief, you're never going to get to the end. So I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to do it in a way that people will never forget. Mm-hmm. Because it's how I did what I did. I couldn't go in. I'm not saying go in cocky. I'm saying go in self-assured.
Yep.
I'm not saying be aggressive. I'm saying just be assertive. And if you have those elements with you, you're going to convey a confidence that other people will. It's contagious. Confidence is contagious. Attitude is contagious. Belief is contagious. So I'm going to talk about that in my second seminar. And then in the third one, I'm going to talk about how do you expand your business from the people that you already have. You can look at it as milking your own cows. Mm-hmm. You have a barn full of cows dripping with milk, and you run by them in the morning to go make cold calls like a fool. So it's your present customers. Milk your cows. Because, I'm going to look at it from the standpoint of one of my customers kills mosquitoes.
Yep.
They go in the backyard and kill mosquitoes. It's a big business right now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they all live next door to somebody who wants to kill their mosquitoes. Why would you ever? And the guy who's selling the mosquito stuff should just say, listen, I'm going to spray your yard for nothing. I'm going to spray your yard for nothing. If you like it, buy it. And if you don't like it, send me home. Fair enough.
Right.
Yeah. The guy should have the whole city.
Right. So I mean, a group rate for the subdivision. Tackle the whole thing.
All you have to do, stop worrying about how much am I going to charge for this. The more you give away, the more you're going to win, the more you're going to earn. Just give away a little. Just tease it. One of the most famous success stories in this country's entrepreneurial world is Debbie Fields. Mrs. Fields. She wanted to open up a cookie store. Her husband said, you're stupid. It'll never work. You can't win. She opened up the cookie stores and no one came. So she decided to take the cookies out of the store and give them away. Mm-hmm. And say, if you like these, come back to the store and get more. And sold out. And then the next store. And that's their strategy. They open up a store now, hundreds of them, by giving away cookies.
Right.
Seems kind of logical. But you know what? Other cookie stores die because they're waiting for customers to come in and buy.
Right.
Ice cream, same thing. Pizza, same thing. Just go out on the street and give away your damn pizza. It's cheap. It's the cheapest thing you got. You don't need to go advertise in the newspaper. You just need to walk outside and say, hey, want a slice of pizza? Hey, want a slice of pizza? And make them little if you're a cheap bastard, but give them away. And people will come back and buy. It's crazy what people don't do because they're looking to make a sale instead of creating an outcome.
So those are the principles and those are the common sense kind of themes that have really been the hallmark of your work over the last 20 years, at least since I've been reading you and seeing you and working with you. What's the next step for this? Is it really about just getting it in front of as many people as possible? Or are you still?
Yes, but I have to be different, better than the next guy. So for example, in the first seminar, I'm going to teach a lesson in creativity. How to be more creative. Like, well, somebody's going to say, well, I can't come up with ideas. That's bullshit. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Just take a lesson in creativity and figure out how you can do it better, smarter. Better, smarter. What can you substitute? What can you rearrange? What can you make bigger or smaller? Those are the things that you have to look at in your sales presentation that will lead you to a more promised land. And most salespeople just don't get it. They think they need a low price or they think they need some kind of closing technique, and they don't work anymore.
I think there's too many people looking for the shortcut or the quick way out or the how-to guide instead of having an understanding of what actually has to happen. And, you know, when you take a look at the outcome you're trying to create, it's actually fairly straightforward to work backward from there and identify the things that need to happen along the way. There's your process.
It's not easy, but it is simple.
Right.
And the more simple you make it, the easier it's going to be for you to actually have an understanding of what you want the outcome to be. The customer does not want to buy a drill. They want to make a hole in the wall.
Right.
And once you have that understanding, you're going to win. Coming
this seminar series kicks off this week, September 12th. That's the first one.
Coming week. I'm going to be slamming. First of all, there's things you have to do in life. I've already prepared close to 400 slides for the first talk.
Wow.
And it's going to be with a video inset. It's going to be so cool. Like, you'll see me and you'll see the slide at the same time, live. And we're just so jacked up about it. The studio's cranked. We just increased our ability to broadcast. We're buying, gigabytes of whatever, and because you can get them now for you can now get a gig of online power cheaper than you could get 20 megs.
Sure.
I mean, seriously, we went from 100 gigabytes at $700 a month to 1,000 gigabytes at $100 a month.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening in the world. So we're at 1,000. We're going to be able to broadcast anywhere, and we're excited about it. And the future of our messaging is online. Totally. I mean, why would I not want to try to reach thousands of people? And we're going to do more and more on specific subjects. But this one, I had to launch with something big. I wanted to make sure that this was, it reaches salespeople to eliminate their frustration. It reaches salespeople to give them more confidence in themselves to convey their message with enthusiasm, with belief. And I'm a New York City sales guy. Like, I go into sales calls in New York City and I win. I would challenge anybody from, the rust belt or the rusted belt or the black belt or the sun belt. Come to the city for a while. Come hang out with me. Because
if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, right? Somebody said that once.
That is exactly right. That is the song. And you have to put yourself in a position where you're willing to go to New York City, rent an Airbnb for 3 months, and make cold calls. See how you do. Report your findings.
Right.
Well, but it's comfortable for me. I love talking to CEOs. I love talking to anybody in sales, and I'll create conversations with anyone. I'm going to give you an example. Several years ago, I'm in Houston, Texas, and I just come from the baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
The Hilton. You can walk from the stadium back to the hotel. Roger Clemens was the pitcher, just to give you a framework of time. And they were paying him like $16 million for 1 year. I figured it out. It was $4,000 a pitch.
Right.
Wouldn't it be cool if they had to pay him after every pitch? And ball one, 4,000, Roger. Okay. So I go back. I go back to the hotel, and there's these two guys in the lobby. Obviously, one guy pitching the other guy with his laptop, and he's fingering the slides and all that kind of crap. And the customer wasn't paying any attention. And so I just viewed it, and I walked over, and I talked to the sales guy. I go, what are you doing? Say, well, I'm making a sales presentation. I said, this guy's not paying any attention to you. So I looked at the customer. I said, are you buying or not? He goes, yeah, I'm probably going to buy. I said, so what are you doing? Just end this.
Take his money.
Right. And I walked away. And
you are officially the only person I know who would do that, who would walk into a sales call and say, by the way, your presentation sucks. He's buying anyway. Why are you wasting your time?
Exactly.
Let's go get a beer.
But people don't understand how to get down to that bottom line.
Right.
The salesperson feels like the salesperson will say, wait, don't buy yet. I'm not done my pitch. And the sales manager, like a fool, wants them to ask for a referral the minute they make a sale.
Right.
Which is never going to happen. And you put
you know what else you want to buy?
Yeah, you put that customer in an immediate, uncomfortable position. Mm-hmm. Immediately. So I'm going to share that information so the salespeople will have a true path. And I'm not saying my path is the only path, but I'm saying my way has worked for tens of millions of dollars. And the other guys are, to me, unproven.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at it from the perspective, okay, I want to be able to make this sale, make a profit, and get a referral.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to go from making to earning. I want to earn the sale, I want to earn the profit, and then I want to earn a referral.
Right.
So if you can go from make to earn, dude, you go from ask to earn. You're gonna win for the long. And that's in your head here.
Yeah.
That's your mindset.
Yep.
To make that happen. If you don't have that mindset, which is a very I don't know. I'm not crazy about buzzwords, but mindset's a good word.
Well, your frame of reference for what you're trying to accomplish, there's a difference between making a sale and earning a sale. And if you think about earning a sale, you're going to make more of them. If you're just thinking about making them, you're not going to earn them. And mindset's the perfect word because it's your frame of reference for what you're trying to accomplish and how high you're interested in raising your own bar and what you're trying to get yourself to be capable of. And if you think about selling as a process, if you think about the outcome you're trying to create and backing things up from there and all the things that need to happen, you're not going to miss any of those steps. And when you think of all the steps that are all the things that need to be done, you're going to do more of those things. You're going to make more sales. But I work with clients all the time. They think that selling is walking in with a couple of flashy slides and maybe 3 or 4 buzzwords and I'm going to get money here today. Right. And it's like,
thank God when I was making $1 million sales, slides didn't exist.
Right.
Otherwise I'd have been screwed. Because no CEO of any big company wants to see your slides.
Nope.
Hey, can I bore the shit out of you for a little while with about 32 slides? It's only going to take 30 minutes, I promise. Dude, I only have 3, and I'm going to make a decision in that period of time.
And then you walk in and say, you want to pay me now, or do you want to hear the pitch first?
Right, exactly. Exactly. And people don't understand the value of a succinct, direct message. They just don't understand it. And they don't understand that if they do the right thing and they say the right thing, they can win the sale at a profit.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to hammer your price. Like people ask, it's amazing to me. You go into a retail place that you like. I go to Clean Juice. You know Clean Juice?
We don't have them.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like a healthy place.
Yeah, like a juice bar, right? Like a smoothie.
Yeah,
We've got places
exactly.
like that. We don't have one of those. There's a franchising opportunity for you here in southeastern Michigan, though. I think.
Thank you. And they say, do you want our loyalty card? I go, no, I'm already loyal.
Right.
What are you asking me if I want to get $1 off or something? I don't want $1 off. Make all the profit so you can stay in business, please.
Right. Right.
Here's, the difference is between $7 and $6.50. I'll give you the 50 cents. Like, go for it.
I had no, go ahead.
Now with some people at work, some people want to have the clip thing with, give me the punch hole in my card. I can never find the frickin' thing. So I don't want to have another thing in my wallet. I just want to be a good customer, give them what they feel they deserve, and move on.
Right. Right. If you already have a loyal customer, there's no reason to give them a discount.
Right. And don't confuse loyalty with your airline Sky Miles. They call it a loyalty program, but it's forced loyalty.
Yeah.
You have no choice.
Handcuffs.
You live in Charlotte, you fly American Airlines, or you're
late.
Walk down the losers concourse where there are no, and maybe Southwest, but the bottom line is it's about 95% of the flights.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow I'm going to fly to Philly. What am I going to do? Fly to Dallas, and then fly to Philly, fly to Cleveland, then fly to Philly? No, I'm going to fly to Philly. I'm going to get on an airplane and get off the airplane in Philly.
Yeah.
This is too short of a video to talk about where I'm going to go when I land, because I have certain food groups that I have to have, none of which are.
How many of them start with cheese and end in steak?
Yeah, exactly. There's other things. It's too complicated to name, but it involves pickles, it involves cinnamon buns, it involves all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I want my audience, you know me, if you know the red book or you know the gold book of Yes Attitude, I'm not full of shit.
Right.
Here's an opportunity for a few dollars to invest in yourself to get to next level and to eliminate the dorky competition that's working on their slides. The marketing team says, here, use this deck. What is a deck? Oh, it's like a bunch of slides. They misname it. It's not a deck, it's boredom. And if they call it boredom, then no one would use their deck. Or make it your own deck. Or modify it anyway to make it kind of fun. And then the question is, can you engage the person who actually makes the decision? How long does that take? Is it a process? Are you prepared for it? Or do you just say, I'd like to speak to the person that makes the decisions about in which case you will never get to ever. Because you're going to get somebody in the middle and, I don't ask for decision makers unless I'm talking to a third party who knows who the decision maker is, who's willing to tell me.
Right. You're not going to ask for a decision maker for someone it's in their best interest to keep you away from said decision maker.
That's their job. Block salespeople.
Yep.
So I'm going to find out, and there's ways to find out so easily now who's the CEO of blank. Just go to Mother Google. She'll tell you everything. And you go to the guy's LinkedIn, he'll tell you where he went to college, what his golf handicap is, what his kids' names are. I mean, it's crazy what you can find out so easily.
Right. 5 minutes.
And you call a big company up and say, is Bob there? And they go, Bob who? There's only one Bob. He runs a company. Oh, Bob. And they put you right through.
Right. So this is the wisdom that you're sharing in this seminar series.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a hootenanny. It's going to be all about creativity. It's all about the sales manifesto. It's all about what does this person have to do to be perceived as different better. And I'm going to go walk through the strategy that I used in Manhattan to make about $100 million worth of sales. About.
Awesome.
And
hard to turn that down.
huh?
It's really hard to turn that down.
Yeah, well, not all at once, but over a period of time,
Sure.
millions and millions of dollars worth of sales, and in the $100,000 clumps.
Well, no, and that makes it even. That's exactly my point, though. Is this is not like, oh yeah, I did this one thing and I, pulled a fast one on this guy and I made a 7-8 figure sale. It's like, no, I did this for a sustained period of time. I tested it, I improved it, I learned, I improved it some more, and now it's ready for prime time. And I sold a few things with it. I think you could too, and I think that's the beginning and the end of it. This is something that's going to be worthwhile for a lot of people to check in or to check out, to check into and check out. Your principles, and I've told you this, I've told other people this, I've shared this with my audience, that the two books that I read first that made any sense to me in sales were the Little Red Book and the Sales Bible. And I read the Sales Bible before I read the Little Red Book because I gave the Little Red Book away so many damn times before I could finish it because it meant that much. And those principles, those fundamentals hold up.
Correct.
And now with additional time and additional context and additional stories to share, you get to put all that into a seminar series that people are going to buy and then go make money with.
And I had fun at it. And I think that's the most important part.
Yeah.
I think that there has to be an attitude of relaxation to it, or it's going to look stilted.
Yes.
And maybe I had some more balls than the other guys would have. I'm a walker, and if the CEO gets up and walks, I go sit behind his desk. You should see the look on the guy's face. It's unbelievable.
You put your Converse All-Stars up on his desk and
Well, I don't do that, but I'm going to tell you this. It's a shocker.
Yep.
Nobody would dare. And they smile. And if they smile, I win. If they smile, I win. Now, am I looking for things in common? Yes. Am I not going to start a conversation with somebody until I find it in common? Yes. Is it easy to find something in common? Oh, yeah, as long as you're experienced or have some experience. But I'm not looking to be politically correct. I'm probably more politically incorrect than most people I know.
Anybody I know.
I'm looking to be friendly.
Yeah.
But the quote that I've used for years is, all things being equal, people want to do business with their friends. All things being not quite so equal, people still want to do business with their friends. Because it's comfy. You go to somebody's house, do you try to close them on having a beer, or do you just say, where's the beer?
I got friends that just open the fridge.
Right. Right. So you have to be perceptive enough and be risk oriented enough. You can't be risk averse and be in sales. Just plain and simple. You're either willing to take the risk or you're not. And my job has always been to recognize where there's an opportunity, create some kind of an idea around the process, and then execute in a way where the other person perceives my value, not my pitch.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that. I can win 1,000 times in a row.
Yep.
I mean, literally 1,000 times in a row. And I can tell you, we're giving away, one of the things we're going to give away are the 5 best sales I ever made.
Okay.
A video series that I made here in Charlotte. It's killer. It's fun. And I had to hone it down to try to pick 5 because they're so much fun. If you make good sales and you make big sales, and sometimes you make a small sale and it turns into a big sale. You can't measure the sale that you make at that moment, because I've made $10,000 sales that turned into millions.
Yep.
I've sold 500 books that turned into a $5 million deal. So you can't prejudge where you think this is going. Just give your best value, give your best presentation, give your best skill set to the process, and let it roll.
and be okay with what happens and just continue to put yourself in position to win.
Yep. And it ain't hard.
No.
It's not hard. It's hard work, but it ain't hard.
Right.
And most salespeople are not willing to do the hard work that it takes to make selling easy.
I read that somewhere.
Yep. It's a good quote of mine. It's almost as good as you don't get great at sales in a day, you get great at sales day by day.
Yep.
And when someone understands that, they won't get as frustrated if they lose a deal. You lost a deal for a reason. Find out why, you won't lose another one.
Right.
I'm going to talk about one of the things that I've been talking about over the course of the last few weeks in video is blame versus responsibility. Mm-hmm. And that will be addressed in this process as well. Like, the guy wouldn't call me back. Okay. What's your point? Why wouldn't the guy call you back? That's the real point. Because if you can assess that, you're going to get all your calls returned. Or you can blame. The guy took a lower price. The guy said he wasn't interested. The guy took a crazy.
Well, I've used this too, you know, and I read this. This was one of yours. If they're not interested, it's because you're not interesting.
Right.
And, you know, I took that and I said, there's too many people worried about what to say instead of worried about being worth talking to.
Correct. That is totally correct. So I'm going to challenge your audience, your listeners, your peeps, your devotees to pony it up and, you know, get online and watch this happen, because it will be remarkable. I mean, we are investing all kinds of resources and trying to put on, not in a 35,000 foot stadium, just in a 1,000 square foot studio, because the message is basically the same if you do it right.
Yep.
And a couple of the bonuses besides the 5 best sales is anyone who buys this series has access to it forever. And anyone who buys the series, there's going to be a couple of options. The smaller one, you can get 2 group coaching sessions after the event. The larger one, you get 4 group coaching sessions and a couple of other bonuses. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be amazing. We're so excited about it, we can't stand it. And I don't have to take a plane to get there. I don't have to sleep in a hotel room to get there. I wake up, I pet the doggies, I have a healthy breakfast, and I go downstairs and do a talk.
Yeah.
And it's the most fun you can have because our team is so amazing right now. So many good people. It's fun to work in this environment and fun to help salespeople. And I'm in my library. I'm in a place where I totally love my surroundings, and it's creative juice for me. It is absolutely unbelievable. So I'll appreciate whatever you can do. I'll look forward to seeing some of your people, and they will have a damn profitable time.
I don't doubt that at all.
So Bajorek with a B.
Yes, sir.
I will see you. If you need me, you know my cell phone. And in spite of the fact that we clicked a little bit technologically here to begin this meeting, it's always a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Anytime I get an opportunity to talk with you, I always learn something. And hey, thank you for picking up when I call.
It's a pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jeff.
Cheers.